Over 3 years have passed since my last video. I am older and yet no wiser. I've regretfully been bound by worldly affairs, by the shackles which modernity has crafted from manhood. In videos past, I've spoken of the binaries which are intrinsic to nature, binaries in which the interaction of poles leads to the genesis of life. Earth and sky, the product of which is flora and fauna. Woman and man, the product of which is offspring. Body and mind, the product of which is consciousness. There too are synthetic, anthropogenic binaries, usually something natural, intrinsic, true and born of God, counterposing something inorganic, man-made, dysgenic and artificial. The most prominent and unilateral of these synthetic binaries is that of the Earth and the world. Firstly, to define the Earth. The Earth is a perfect system, a macroorganism in which the human race and all other organic life forms are components, symbionts. Here, all things exist in perfect atemporal harmony. A cyclical symbiosis, a fractal network of consumption cycles. All organisms are born pre-equipped with the knowledge and desires required to navigate and flourish on this Earth. Nature imbues us with this a priori knowledge or intuition, so that we may best fulfill our roles as humans and play our part as symbionts in the great dynamic dance of nature. This natural and primordial state, in which we know only that which God has revealed to us, is referred to in Islam as fitra. Throughout the process of education and domestication, we lose much of this, or are taught by religions to mistrust and abhor it. The earth is a noumena as opposed to a phenomena, something which exists independently of human perception. And now to define the world. The world, on the other hand, is completely man-made. It is a fully synthetic environment designed by man, and whatever odious force has guided his pale hand. The world is where disembodied constructs exist. For example, time or money. These two abstractions are entirely man-made, and are not at all intrinsic to reality, and thus, in truth, are entirely non-existent. The world is in fact a hyperstition, a concept which I'll delve into in greater depth in my next video, but for the sake of brevity, an entity which brings itself into existence through the consciousness of human beings. The first quarter of our lives are spent in education, in which we're thoroughly indoctrinated to believe in the falsehood of the world and the imminence of its existence. We are punished from a very young age for disregarding time, or any other such man-made constructs, such as quantity, language, or morality. The world only exists because we collectively will it to. We as a species are the host for its spirit. The world has no exact date of birth. Some point to the first moment that plant agriculture was practiced, which precipitated sedentary civilizations and the concept of property or ownership. But in truth, the world has been adopted and conceived by different groups at different rates. This hyperstition that is the world has been fighting for recognition forever. There are still groups on this earth that don't acknowledge its existence. For example, the Amondawa tribe of Rondonia, who have no concept of time or quantity, and whose experience of the earth is entirely unmediated by any mirage of the world. The world, as opposed to the earth, is an entirely man-made construct and is thus an imperfect system. Rather than ensuring maximum euphoria and bliss for all of its constituents, the world creates deep existential suffering and inequality for the majority of its participants. The world is highly mimetic of the earth. It impersonates the earth's processes and tropes so that we might take it more seriously. For example, it creates what Ted Kaczynski referred to as surrogate activities, essentially man-made experiences designed to simulate things that we're hard programmed to desire or anticipate. For example, work, the pursuit of capital or fiat currency. We naturally have the will to overcome adversity or solve problems. Workplaces harvest this will and use it to generate money, some of which we're rewarded with. We use this money to pay for our place in the world, so that we might continue to have our will and our desires harvested. We are entirely enslaved by the world and worship it with blind faith as if it were our creator, in spite of the very fact that we are its creators and upholders. We fear and abandon the earth's perfect dynamic rhythm because of its apparent mercilessness and amorality. When one has been intergenerationally programmed to mistrust and forget their intuition, a man-made world with a written rulebook can seem like the only option. We are more than ever plagued with a feeling of profound dread, of an ontological horror. It is a hum that soundtracks our modern lives. It must be understood that this is a product of living in the world. Our very warranted disdain for the world's dysbiosis often leads to our forsaking of the earth. If we do not possess the knowledge that the world and the earth are two entirely distinct and separate things, we cannot forsake life itself, as the scourge which causes this misery is not real. It is an illusion which we have agreed to immerse ourselves in. We are the children of the earth, abducted and enslaved by an eldritch facsimile, the world. Transgression against nature, or the earth, is always followed by suffering. Our entire modern existence in the world is testament to this. To summarize, Earth is the intrinsic monad of existence, in which we humans are a cog, a component, a symbiont. The world is an illusion which is overlaid atop the earth, designed meticulously to occupy our animal brains so that we dedicate our lives to it. Earth is paradise, and it's always right there, waiting for your embrace.